In US politics, you'll often hear the phrase safe state used when describing certain states within the union when it comes to an election. But what does safe state actually mean, and what are the examples of safe states? And of course, what is the difference between safe states, swing states, and battleground states? Well, I got all that in this video for you guys and a whole lot more, so let's dive in. So in American politics, a safe state is a state where one major political party consistently wins election with a significant margin of victory. These states rarely change their voting patterns, making them predictable in national elections. For example, Alabama is almost always Republican, whereas California these days is always Democrat. Notice I said these days though, these things are not permanent and we'll go into what actually makes them change over time. Unlike swing states, which can easily be run by either the Democrats or the Republicans in any given election, safe states reliably vote for the same party cycle after cycle. For example, you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar that Wyoming and Oklahoma will be Republican at the next election in 2024, come what may. And in the electoral college system, safe states play an important role in electoral strategy. Political campaigns typically allocate fewer resources to these states because the outcome is almost decided already. It doesn't matter how much campaigning you actually do, it's going to be either blue or red, and there's not really much you can do to change that. So instead, political campaigns usually focus more on battleground states and swing states than safe states, whether that safe state is one for your party or the other one. But the concept of safe states is not permanent. Political demographics shift over time, and today's safe state might become tomorrow's battleground state. These changes can occur due to population migration, evolving voter priorities, or shifts in party platforms. This dynamic nature makes American electoral politics constantly interesting despite some predictable elements to it. For example, Texas, long considered to be safely Republican, saw margins as narrow as 9% in 2016, and in 2020, it was around 6% advantage for the Republicans. Although by 2024 it was up to around 14% again, but that is obviously a trend that we saw all across much of the country in 2024. But the point is that overall that gap is narrowing. So in the future, Texas could go from being a safe state to being a swing state or a battleground state. And we've already seen this in some other states such as Virginia, which was once reliably Republican, but nowadays usually votes for the Democrats. And indeed, the Democrats did win Virginia in 2024. Despite obviously the country as a whole electing a Republican president. We've already kind of touched on it already, but what is the difference between a safe state and a swing state or a battleground state? Well, swing states effectively have a smaller margin of victory for either party and regularly change between different ones. Ohio is a classic example of that. More often than not, whoever wins the state of Ohio usually wins the election, although this is not always the case. For example, in 2020, Ohio voted Republican, but obviously Joe Biden, who's a Democrat, managed to get in. And people who are wanting to change the Electoral College or have it scrapped entirely often argue that the current system forces candidates to focus narrowly on a handful of states rather than developing policies that benefit the entire country. But that is a discussion for another day. But that's essentially what it is, guys. Safe states, you know which way they're going to vote every single time. Swing states, you're not quite sure. You don't know which way it's going to go, and it often changes from election to election. Battleground states, pretty much the same thing, of course. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video here on the Political Newscast, guys. I hope you found it informative. What do you think is going to be the main battleground state, the main swing state at the next election in 2028? Your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe as always, guys, and have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and we'll see you